Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, if you have ever asked yourself, why is life so hard even when I try to be good? If you have ever felt tired, restricted, or out of place in this world, then this hadith is for you. The world is a prison for the believer and a paradise for the disbeliever. Sahih Muslim. This hadith completely changes the way a believer understands life. Many people become confused when they see sincere, kind believers struggling while others live comfortably without faith. The Prophet explained this reality clearly. For the believer, this world is like a prison, not because there is no happiness at all, but because the believer lives with limits, responsibility, and accountability. The believer controls desires, avoids sins, and thinks about the hereafter before every action. These limits can feel heavy in a world that celebrates freedom without boundaries, but this prison is temporary, and it exists to prepare the believer for eternal freedom in Jannah. Calling the dunya a prison does not mean believers are meant to be miserable all the time. It means that a believer's heart is never fully satisfied here. There is always something missing, something restricting, something reminding them that this world is not home. A believer feels guilt after sin, responsibility before pleasure, and fear of Allah before temptation. That inner struggle is what makes the dunya feel tight, but this hadith teaches that these struggles are not signs of failure, they are signs of faith. Every restriction you accept for Allah becomes a doorway to eternal ease in the hereafter. For the disbeliever, the world feels like paradise because this is the best reward they will ever receive. Comfort, wealth, enjoyment, and freedom may come easily to them, but it ends here. This hadith is not meant to insult anyone. It is meant to comfort the believer. When life feels unfair, when sacrifices feel heavy, remember this truth. Your reward is delayed, not denied. Allah has not forgotten you. He is saving your real happiness for a place where pain, fear, and loss do not exist. Understanding this, hadith gives meaning to patience and dignity to suffering. This hadith also explains why believers often feel restless, even when they have blessings. A believer may have money, family, or success, yet still feel an emptiness inside. That emptiness is not a flaw. It is a sign that the heart was created for something greater than this world. Allah designed the believer's heart to long for Jannah, not dunya. This hadith teaches that dissatisfaction is not always ingratitude. Sometimes it is spiritual awareness. The believer's soul knows this world is temporary, so it never fully settles here. That inner restlessness keeps the believer moving toward Allah and the hereafter. Living in a prison means the believer lives with self-control. While others follow desires freely, the believer pauses and asks, will Allah be pleased with this? That pause is heavy, especially in a society that encourages instant pleasure. This hadith reminds the believer that every desire restrained today becomes freedom tomorrow. Every temptation resisted becomes light in the grave. Every forbidden pleasure avoided becomes a reward in Jannah. The believer's discipline is not wasted, it is recorded. Allah sees every silent struggle, every hidden sacrifice, and every moment you choose Him over yourself. This hadith also protects believers from losing hope when life feels unfair. Many people ask, why do bad people seem happy while good people struggle? The Prophet answered this question centuries ago. The believer's life is not meant to be a paradise, it is meant to be a test. Comfort here does not equal success, and hardship does not equal failure. This hadith shifts the definition of success from comfort to faith. When you understand this, you stop measuring life by ease and start measuring it by closeness to Allah. For the believer, this world feels restrictive because faith creates responsibility. You feel responsible for your words, actions, intentions, and even thoughts. That awareness can feel heavy, but it is also what makes a believer honorable. This hadith teaches that accountability is a gift, not a curse. Allah cares enough about you to guide you, correct you, and hold you accountable. That accountability shapes your character and protects your soul. While others may feel free today, true freedom belongs to the one who obeys Allah and earns eternal peace. This hadith gives deep comfort during times of suffering. When you face illness, loss, rejection, or hardship, remember, a prison is not forever. It has an end. Every difficulty you face has an expiration date. Allah promises that the believer's hardship will not last beyond this life. The pain you feel now will be replaced with joy that never ends. This understanding gives patience strength and transforms tears into worship. Your suffering is not meaningless. It is shaping your place in Jannah. This hadith also teaches believers how to deal with criticism and misunderstanding. In a world where faith is often questioned or mocked, believers can feel isolated or judged. This feeling of being out of place is part of what makes the dunya feel like a prison. But this hadith reassures you that being different is not a weakness. It is proof of purpose. Allah did not create you to blend in with every desire-driven trend. He created you to stand firm with values. When you are criticized for your faith, remember that every prison sentence has an end, and beyond it lies freedom and honor with Allah. The believer's prison is also emotional. You feel deeply. You regret sins. You feel guilt when you fall short. Others may move on without care, but your heart feels heavy because it is alive with Iman. This hadith teaches that this emotional weight is not a curse, it is a blessing. A heart that feels pain after sin is a heart that Allah still cares for. That pain pulls you back to Him. Without it, a person becomes spiritually numb. So when your heart feels heavy, remember, Allah is protecting you through that sensitivity. This hadith reminds believers not to rush Allah's justice. Seeing wrongdoers succeed can be painful, but Allah's justice is perfect and complete, not partial. If someone is enjoying paradise in this world, remember, it may be the only paradise they ever see. For the believer, justice is delayed, not denied. Allah is watching everything, recording everything, and preparing an outcome far beyond this life. This understanding stops bitterness from growing in the heart and replaces it with trust. Allah never forgets, never overlooks, and never fails to balance the scales. Living in a prison also means living with hope. Prisoners survive because they know freedom is coming. This hadith fills the believer with hope for Jannah. Every prayer, every tear, every sacrifice becomes meaningful when you remember what is waiting for you. The believer does not expect perfection here, because perfection belongs to the next life. This hope gives strength to endure hardship with dignity. It allows you to smile through pain, knowing that Allah is preparing something far greater than anything this world can offer. This hadith also reshapes how believers see success. In the world's eyes, success means wealth, comfort, and status. But Islam teaches a different measure. A believer may live a restricted life, but die with a heart full of Iman. That is true success. This hadith frees believers from chasing illusions. It teaches that real victory is earning Allah's pleasure, not worldly applause. When this truth settles in the heart, pressure reduces. You stop racing against others and start walking confidently toward Allah. The prison of the believer also includes patience with Allah's commands. Some commands feel heavy, lowering the gaze, controlling anger, forgiving others. This hadith reminds us that these restrictions refine the soul. Just like discipline shapes the body, obedience shapes the heart. Allah is not limiting you to harm you. He is limiting you to protect you. Every command you follow strengthens your soul for eternal life. The believer's patience today becomes their honor tomorrow. This hadith prepares the believer for the final journey. Death is the moment when the prison doors open. For the believer, death is not destruction. It is release. The Prophet described this world as a prison so that believers would not cling to it. When you understand this hadith, you fear death less and prepare for it more. You focus on filling your life with deeds that matter beyond the grave. The believer lives responsibly, knowing that freedom is near. This hadith also teaches believers how to live with dignity in hardship. When life restricts you financially, emotionally, or socially, remember that prisons do not define a person's worth. A believer's value is not measured by comfort, but by faith. This understanding protects the heart from shame and self-pity. You may not have what others have, but you have something greater, a connection with Allah. That connection gives meaning to every sacrifice you make. The believer walks through hardship with dignity because they know Allah sees their patience and honors it beyond measure. The prison of the believer also trains self-awareness. You constantly reflect on your actions, intentions, and heart. This reflection can feel heavy, but it is what purifies the soul. This hadith reminds us that ease without accountability can destroy a person, while restriction with guidance can save them. Allah uses limits to protect believers from losing themselves. Every boundary you respect is shaping a stronger, wiser version of you. This is why believers grow through difficulty while others collapse in comfort. This hadith gives believers courage to resist societal pressure. In a world that normalizes sin and mocks restraint, choosing faith can feel isolating. But this hadith reassures you that isolation is temporary. The believer may feel like a stranger here, but they will feel at home in the hereafter. Allah never promised believers popularity. He promised them honor. Holding on to faith in a challenging environment is one of the greatest forms of worship. Every moment you remain firm is a step closer to eternal peace. The idea of the dunya as a prison also helps believers manage expectations. When expectations are realistic, disappointment loses its power. This hadith teaches you not to expect paradise in a place that was never meant to be paradise. When something goes wrong, your heart does not shatter, because you understand the nature of this world. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening?" you ask, "How can I please Allah through this?" That shift transforms hardship into worship and pain into purpose. This hadith also protects believers from arrogance. Even when you succeed, you remember that comfort here is temporary. Success does not intoxicate you, and failure does not destroy you. This balance creates humility. Allah does not want believers to be attached to the dunya, whether through love or hatred. He wants hearts attached to Him alone. Understanding. This hadith keeps success and hardship in their proper place, both as tests, both as temporary, both as opportunities to draw closer to Allah. For the believer, hope is the greatest gift born from this hadith. Hope that every tear will be answered, every patience rewarded, every loss replaced. This hope is not wishful thinking. It is a promise from Allah. When the believer feels tired, hope carries them forward. When they feel broken, hope puts the pieces back together. This hadith builds a future-focused faith where the believer endures today because they trust tomorrow with Allah. This hadith also teaches compassion. When you understand that everyone is tested differently, you stop judging people harshly. You realize that ease and hardship are both tests. The believer learns humility by seeing others struggle, and gratitude by recognizing their own blessings. This understanding softens the heart and strengthens character. Allah wants believers who are patient with themselves and gentle with others. The prison of this world teaches empathy, not cruelty. The believer's prison ends at death, but preparation begins in life. This hadith encourages you to invest in deeds that last beyond this world. Acts of kindness, sincere prayers, forgiveness, and patience become your currency. You stop wasting energy on temporary gains and focus on eternal rewards. When life feels restrictive, remember that you are building a future that never fades. Every good deed is a brick in your eternal home. This hadith removes fear of loss. When you understand that nothing here is meant to last, you hold things with open hands. Love deeply, but do not despair when loss comes. Allah gives and Allah takes, always with wisdom. The believer trusts that whatever leaves their life was never meant to stay forever. This trust brings peace even in moments of grief. Loss becomes a reminder, not a destruction. So remember, my dear brother or sister, this world was never meant to be your paradise. It is a place of testing, growth, and preparation. If you feel restricted, misunderstood, or tired, know that you are exactly where a believer is meant to be, on a journey towards something far greater. The prison will end, the doors will open, and when they do, every moment of patience will turn into eternal joy. Hold on to your faith, because Allah is preparing your freedom. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.